In today's video, I am showing you how to make some resin blobs, apparently. Let's rewind a little and see how I ended up with this. I'm sure you've seen a ton of videos on pendulum painting. This looks so cool. I have seen it both small scale and large scale, and I had to try it out. So I got this kit. I can't remember where it was from. It wasn't on Amazon, but it was one of those little craft shops, but I did see it on multiple places, and this is a mini one, and we're obviously going to be extra about this, and we're going to be trying this with the resin instead of acrylic pouring. But before we move on to resin, I need to assemble this and figure out how it all fits in together. I have to say this was quite a fiddly process, and it doesn't really come with any instructions of how to put it together. And I know it looks simple, it is simple, but just because these bits are quite thin and not very sturdy, it is quite fiddly to put them together. And it took me quite some time, which I wasn't expecting.
2,000 years later.
So anyway, I'm going to be using this old canvas that I have just primed white/grey. And it comes with a little syringe, which is essentially going to be the pendulum for this. And before we move on to resin, we are actually going to test it with the paint that it came in, which is an acrylic paint. And it comes in a blue color, and so I guess we don't have a choice. We're going with the blue. So here goes. So I have loaded up the syringe with the blue and nothing seems to be coming out. So I'm gonna fiddle around more with this, see if we have any luck. So I filled up some more paint and still we are getting little dots coming out. Yeah, so after a lot of fiddling, this doesn't seem to be working. So I'm just gonna wipe these blobs off, and they're just going to be the background now. And we are going to go ahead and try this with a different acrylic paint, because this one that it came with just seems really thick to me, and I think it does need to be a little more liquidy and pouring acrylic paint. So I do have one of those, so we're going to give this another go. Okay, so I'm using this pouring paint into the same syringe, and let's see if this works. Yep, as you can see, it is still largely just blobs. No matter what I did, I even tried to thin this out further, but no matter what I did, we were just getting blobs and nothing else. Okay, so I'm gonna give this another wipe, wait for this canvas to dry, because honestly, I am not wasting another canvas on this, because I have really less hope of this working with resin now that I've seen it not work with acrylic. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for this to dry, and I'm gonna come back with resin the next day.
The next day.
Okay, so now that obviously our background canvas is pretty much quite blue at this point, I have mixed in sort of like a dark petrol blue pigment, one of my favorites actually, into my resin. And so I'm going to pour it into the syringe, and here goes. And once again, the theme of this video, blobs. This time resin blobs. And yeah, I'm flicking it. I am literally flicking this all over the place, not even worried about resin going everywhere at this point, which it did. But all we're getting is mostly blobs with some tiny sort of lines, like, if I can call them that. And no matter what I did, we were still getting the same. And at this point, I'm convinced this does not work. I suppose you'd be better off manufacturing your own pendulum device, apparatus thingy, and you'd probably get better luck, because the syringe thing does not work at all. And yeah, so this was fun. Here's what it looks like once it's dry. I know art is subjective and what have you, but this is definitely going in the bin. And if you've enjoyed seeing me struggle, make sure you like, comment and sub. Now I know this wasn't the most satisfying end to a video with a beautiful painting, but at least you know what not to do and what doesn't work. So I'll see you in the next video.